name is Saleem, and I'm really thankful for GB to give me the opportunity to come and talk on behalf of citizen media in Pakistan. Citizen media in Pakistan has sort of come a long way. It's sort of, I won't say that it started because people initially did have blogs before November 3rd, 2007, but the recognition that the bloggers actually received began in November 2007 when the dictator, General Musharraf, who was already in power, had imposed emergency and a total crackdown on the media platforms. So the only source of media was the citizen media itself. So during that time, citizen journalists and bloggers acted like an alternate. They provided an alternate to the mainstream media, and so global media's attention sort of they became the focus of the global media's attention. And a lot of bloggers like Dr. Rabawi, who's also here, and other people who've been blogging on all things Pakistan, a lot of other blogs came on the forefront, which were basically highlighting what was really going on, because journalists weren't allowed to sort of cover any events, and people were being arrested for treason, and there was a lot of going on but there was no outlet for it to be sort of reported. In the meanwhile, Pakistan was also suffering from a judicial crisis, because a little history of the emergency would be that basically the judicial system, the Chief Justice of the country, had been sacked because of certain cases that were against the president at that time. And so the media was covering what was going on in the judicial movement, which is what resulted in the total banning of all media outlets. Then the citizen media not only became the platform where it was as an alternate media, but also people who were on ground working as protesters, protesting with the civil society, and people who were part of civil society, who were actually blogging, live blogging, and putting pictures on Facebook and covering various protests that were going on in the country against the Musharraf-led regime and against the Musharraf-led emergency. That moved on to Long March, which was another protest that was sort of going on against the judicial sacking. But this sort of came to a halt when the Benazir Bhutto murder took place. There's another role that the online media played, because in Pakistan the situation sort of it's very unpredictable. And after the Bhutto murder, there was although the media was covering the event, but it was mostly the media's focus remained on the murder itself and the incident itself. But the problem with people, there were people who I personally know who were stuck at their offices or schools or places they worked with for 4 days, and they had no access to the outside world. They couldn't travel. They didn't know what roads were safe or what routes to take or what was going on, because there was no way they could be informed. So during that time, I think Twitter, even mobile texting, even blogging, these things played a very important role to inform people what was safe and when to sort of leave the house and when to sort of make your way. Apart from that, I think that the role that citizen media plays in Pakistan is not really of an alternate media, but I would like to take it as if that what I personally feel is that the ongoing war on terror has sort of overshadowed the normal problems, social problems or the most pressing problem of the country. So I think in that way, bloggers sort of bring to the forefront the problems that we are facing, normal individuals are facing, despite the ongoing war, where the media, both the global media and the local media, sort of just focuses on the war itself. Like the biggest example of that would be the ongoing conflict in the country's tribal areas with the Taliban. The focus of the global media and the Pakistani media itself has been the conflict and the Taliban and sort of what the military is achieving in that sense. Whereas the IDP crisis, where over 3 million people were displaced, has totally been ignored, or it hasn't been given the amount of highlight. Up till today, there hasn't been proper sort of analysis or stats that could be sort of quoted to tell you or to share with anybody that the number of people that had to flee the area, the number of people that weren't registered because they did not have their ID cards. Most of these people are not lived in rural areas, tribal areas. They're not educated. They did not have access, and so because the war is not an event that is sort of announced. It just happened. So they had to flee the area, and they couldn't get any relief because they did not have identity cards or any way to prove their identity. In that sense, I would like to really appreciate the role that the citizen media played, because they not only highlighted the events, there were a lot of people from the blogosphere who actually went down to the relief camps and worked and collected funds. There were people like Awab Alvi who actually went down to the camps, took pictures, provided the best stats that they could. Their funds or their relief drives were collected solely from the citizen media drive through Twitter, and so we people who were reading on Twitter and elsewhere had an idea about what to send, how to send it, and where to. Whereas the state or the mainstream media was totally, let's say they were trying to cover the conflict, but more than the misery. So people who really wanted to donate did not know exactly what to donate and how to send it. So I think in that sense, the citizen media really, citizen journalists really worked towards making that possible. There are other organizations as well led by citizen media, like the Scene Report, which is more like the CNN report, like citizen media covering events and sending out video logs. Then there's Show Power, which was sort of a SMS text messaging service where you could register yourself. If, let's say, I wanted to register myself for the ITP cause, I would be sent text messages from various NGOs or organizations that were working on ground about the situation and about where the donations are required. I think that played a significant role in sort of in the relief effort that was taking place. Apart from the ITP crisis, the citizen journalists or the bloggers have been very active in sort of protesting or voicing their opinion on bills that are being passed against the things that would threaten their existence, like the e-crime bill that was tabled they were supposed to be passed, but thankfully wasn't. It not only sort of limited the access of bloggers or citizen media to the world or to sort of reach out. I mean, there were rules which said that jokes against the president you could not SMS or text even a joke against the president. That could lead up to 7 years of prison, which was obviously ironic. Not only that, there were other huge flaws. This is where organizations such as Pasha and sort of came to the forefront. Pakistan Software Association came to the forefront and joined hand with the bloggers and sort of gave them a platform to come forward, educated them about the e-crime bill, and sort of made it easier for them to understand what it is and how it's wrong, and make way forward and protest about it. So in a way, citizen media, citizen journalists in Pakistan are although they're not really recognized by the government is doing and does everything possible to block them out or to not give them the importance. But we are fortunate enough to have various organizations that sort of they take us into account. They respect that social media or blogosphere is a platform which they could utilize for their own benefit. So it's sort of, we've come a long way, and the other campaigns such as next month we'll be having a feminist text exchange, which is bloggers would come together to sort of educate and train NGO workers working in rural areas on how to use ITC and IT to sort of reach out to people or to report cases that they encounter, women rights issues and other things. So it's very diverse, I would say. it's very diverse because the political conditions, the social problems that we face are as diverse. But if I would want to represent or to sort of finish up or to summarize the role of citizen journalists in Pakistan, I would say that they provide news, or they try to report facts that are actually concerning the public at large. Whereas the mainstream media, with all due respect, is busy in sort of sensationalizing the ongoing war and covering what the world wants to see. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more about Pakistan, which is beyond the Taliban and the war. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of achievements of people in the IT industry and elsewhere, which is being covered by bloggers. So I think if it is given the recognition it deserves, the global perspective for Pakistan would change greatly. I feel that.